Imagine you have always seen Elvis Presley as a superstar full of energy and charm. But what if I told you there was a hidden side to his life that very few people knew about? At the age of 87, Larry Geller, who was not just Elvis's friend, but also his spiritual guide, has finally revealed a very sad truth about Elvis's personal struggles. This is not just another story about fame and fortune. It is about pain and loneliness that even the king of rock and roll could not escape. Are you ready to discover the real Elvis? Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. When we think about Elvis Presley, we often remember his bright smile, his amazing voice, and his powerful stage presence. He was known as the king of rock and roll, and millions of people around the world loved him for his music and style. His concerts were always full of energy and excitement, and his fans would scream and cheer just to get a glimpse of him. For many people, Elvis was not just a singer, he was a legend and a symbol of success and happiness. But behind all the lights and fame, there was another side to Elvis that most people never saw. This side was hidden from the cameras and the crowds. It was a side filled with struggles and pain that he kept to himself. Only a few close friends knew about the real challenges he faced in his personal life. One of those friends was Larry Geller. Larry was not just Elvis's hairstylist. He was also someone Elvis trusted deeply. Larry became a close companion and a spiritual guide for Elvis during some of the most difficult times in his life. Now, at the age of 87, Larry Geller has decided to share the truth about Elvis's hidden struggles. He wants the world to know that even someone as famous and loved as Elvis could feel lonely and lost. Sometimes, Larry's words are powerful because he was there with Elvis during his highs and lows. He saw the real person Behe and the superstar, and he understands the pain that Elvis went through. In this video, we will take you on a journey to discover the real Elvis Presley. We will listen to Larry Geller's stories and learn about the challenges that Elvis faced away from the spotlight. This is not just a story about music and fame, it is a story about being human and dealing with pain that no one else can see. Larry Geller is not a name that everyone knows, but he played a very important role in Elvis Presley's life. Most people think of Larry as just a hairstylist, but he was much more than that. He first met Elvis in the early 1960s when he was asked to style Elvis's hair for a movie. At that time, Larry was already famous in Hollywood for working with big stars, but meeting Elvis changed his life forever. From the very first meeting, Elvis felt a special connection with Larry. He did not just want a new hairstyle, he wanted someone to talk to about his thoughts and feelings. Elvis was searching for answers about life, and he found comfort in talking to Larry. Larry became a close friend, and someone Elvis could trust with his secrets. They would spend hours talking about life dreams and even spiritual questions that Elvis had. Larry was different from other people in Elvis's life because he listened without judging. He gave Elvis advice and support when he needed it the most. Over time, Larry became more like a spiritual guide than just a hairstylist. He introduced Elvis to new books and ideas that helped him think deeply about his life and purpose. Many people around Elvis were only interested in his fame and money, but Larry cared about Elvis as a person. He saw the real Elvis, the one who sometimes felt lost and alone. Larry's friendship gave Elvis a safe space to share his worries and fears. Because of this special bond, Larry Geller's words about Elvis carry a lot of weight. He was there during some of the most private moments in Elvis's life. He saw the struggles that Elvis tried to hide from the world. When Larry speaks about Elvis's hidden pain, we know he is telling the truth from his own experience. Elvis Presley was known all over the world for his amazing music and his exciting performances. On stage, he looked full of life and confidence. He wore shiny clothes and moved with so much energy that people could not take their eyes off him. Fans would scream his name and try to get close to him wherever he went, in magazines and on television. Elvis always seemed happy and successful. He was the king of rock and roll, and everyone wanted to be like him. But the truth is that the Elvis people saw in public was not always the real Elvis. Behind the scenes, he was a very different person. When the lights went off and the crowds went home, Elvis often felt lonely and sad. He had many worries and fears that he did not share with most people. Even though he was surrounded by friends and fans, he sometimes felt completely alone. Larry Geller saw this private side of Elvis very closely. He noticed that Elvis would sometimes sit quietly and look lost in his thoughts. He would talk to Larry about his problems and his feelings of emptiness. Elvis wanted to find meaning in his life, but he did not know how to do it. He felt a lot of pressure to always be perfect and to make everyone happy. This pressure made him feel tired and stressed. There were times when Elvis tried to hide his pain by joking around or acting cheerful, But Larry could see through it. He knew that Elvis was struggling inside and needed someone to listen to him. The world saw a superstar, but Larry saw a man who was hurting and searching for answers. This difference between Elvis's public image and his private pain is something many people did not know about. It shows that even the most famous and successful people can have deep struggles that they keep hidden from the world. When Larry Geller turned 87, he decided it was time to share the truth about Elvis Presley's hidden struggle. For many years, Larry kept these stories private, out of respect for his friend, but now he feels that people need to know what Elvis was really going through. Larry's words are not just stories, they are memories from someone who was there with Elvis during his most difficult moments. Larry revealed that Elvis was not just fighting with fame and pressure, but also with deep feelings of loneliness and sadness. Even though Elvis had everything that money could buy, he still felt empty inside. He wanted to find real happiness and peace, but it always seemed out of reach. Larry said that Elvis would often ask him questions about life and why he felt so lost. Sometimes Elvis would cry and say that he did not know who he really was anymore. One of the most touching things Larry shared was how Elvis would sometimes sit alone in his room thinking about his mother and the simple life he had before he became famous. He missed those days and wished he could go back to a time when things were easier. Larry said that Elvis felt trapped by his own fame. He could not go outside without being followed by fans and reporters. This made him feel like a prisoner in his own home. Larry also talked about how Elvis tried to find comfort in books and spiritual talks. He wanted to understand the meaning of life and find answers to his questions. But even with all this searching, Elvis still felt a deep sadness that he could not escape. Larry's stories show us that behind the superstar was a man who was hurting and looking for help. These revelations from Larry Geller are very powerful because they come from someone who truly cared about Elvis and saw his pain up close. The hidden struggle that Larry Geller talked about had a big effect on Elvis Presley's life. It was not just something that stayed inside his mind. It changed the way he lived every day and the way he treated the people around him. Because Elvis felt so much pressure to always be perfect, he started to feel tired and stressed all the time. He wanted to make everyone happy, but he forgot to take care of himself. This sadness and loneliness made it hard for Elvis to trust people. He was always worried that someone might use him for his fame or money, so he kept his real feelings hidden from most people. Even when he was with friends or family, he sometimes felt like he was all alone. Larry Geller said that Elvis would often talk about how hard it was to find someone who truly understood him. The struggle also affected Elvis's health. He started to have trouble sleeping, and sometimes he would stay up all night thinking about his problems. He tried to find comfort in food and sometimes in medicine, but these things only helped for a short time. Over the years, this stress made his body weak and tired. Elvis's career was also touched by his hidden pain. There were times when he did not want to perform or go on stage because he felt so empty inside, but he pushed himself to keep going because he did not want to let his fans down. Larry shared stories about how Elvis would sometimes cry before a show, but then put on a big smile for the audience. Even his relationships suffered because of his struggle. He found it hard to open up to people, and sometimes he would get angry or sad for no clear reason. Larry said that Elvis wanted to be loved for who he really was, not just for being a superstar. The story of Elvis Presley's hidden struggle is not just about the past. It is important for us today because it teaches us a lesson about life and about people who seem happy on the outside but are hurting inside. Many times we look at famous people or even our friends and think they have a perfect life, but we do not know what they are really feeling inside. Elvis's story shows us that even the biggest stars can feel lonely and sad. Talking about Elvis's pain helps us understand that it is okay to have problems and to ask for help. Sometimes people are afraid to share their feelings because they think others will not understand or will judge them. But if someone as famous as Elvis could feel lost, then it is normal for anyone to feel that way. We should not be ashamed of our struggles. Larry Geller's words remind us that we all need someone to talk to and someone who will listen without judging. It is important to care for our friends and family and to check if they are really okay, even if they look happy on the outside. Sometimes just listening can make a big difference in someone's life. This story also teaches us about mental health and why it is important to take care of our minds and hearts, just like we take care of our bodies. If we feel sad or lonely, we should not keep it inside. We should talk to someone we trust or ask for help. There is no shame in needing support. Elvis' hidden struggle is a reminder that everyone has a story and everyone has pain that others may not see. By sharing his story, we can help others feel less alone and more understood. We can learn to be kinder and more caring to the people around us. As we come to the end of this story about Elvis Presley and his hidden struggle, it is important to remember what we have learned. Elvis was not just a superstar or a legend. He was a real person with real feelings and real pain. Even though he made millions of people happy with his music, he sometimes felt very sad and alone inside. Larry Geller's words have helped us see the true side of Elvis, the side that was hidden from the world. By listening to Larry's stories, we understand that fame and success do not always bring happiness. Sometimes the people who seem the strongest are the ones who need the most help. Elvis's life teaches us that it is okay to have problems, and it is okay to ask for support. We should never judge someone just by what we see on the outside, because we do not know what they are going through inside. Now it is your turn to think about this story and what it means to you. Have you ever felt like you had to hide your true feelings from others? Do you know someone who might be struggling in silence? Maybe you have a friend or family member who needs someone to listen to them. This is your chance to reach out and show that you care. If you found this story about Elvis helpful or moving, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your words might help someone else feel less alone. And if you want to hear more true stories about famous people and their real lives, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Remember, everyone has a story, and everyone needs kindness and understanding. Let us learn from Elvis's life and try to be there for each other.